Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because it has a way. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Good evening, Jackie Williams Morel, Roman Rosa. We're coming to you tonight. It's coming. We have to tell the people like it is. As they say, wake up and tell the people. We're coming at you. We're coming because we got to talk about the things and the issues. Let me see if I can. Waiting. I'm excited about tonight because my vote counts. It's amazing what's going on in our community. So we got to do a little talking around here. I've been trying to be nice. It's just not happening. So let me see if I can show a little something right now. In the meantime, as I wait for my guests to come on. Let me see what's going on. It's amazing what we're going to talk about tonight. Jackie, how you doing, Jackie Williams? Just give us a few minutes. We want to come good tonight. Tonight is the night we want to come very good to everyone. So just tell the people the Avril Show is coming at you. We're coming to you shortly. Let me see what I can share to the people in the meantime. Hold on, because we got so much things to share around here. I love this. Yes. Good evening, Tanika. I'm waiting on your call. You owe me a call, Tanika. Still waiting on your call, your return call. Oh, this is so good. I love this. So we're coming. My guests will be coming in shortly. And we are just going to go into some stuff. We're going to go into some stuff tonight. Some may not like me, after tonight, but it's okay. It's very hard not to love Avril. And even when, they don't, then what can I say? Okay, so get ready, people. I am so much ready for this show. But if you're not ready, get ready because you're going to like it. You're going to love this. You have to love this. So tell the people the Avril Show is on with some information tonight they can't afford to miss. Thanks to these sponsors who make it possible for me to be on this show. Thank you, Tanika. We have to talk about the issues. We have to talk about what's going on. New York City is under some heat waves. And when I say heat waves, it's, from the mayor, controller, council, so much going on. Judges, oh, that's what we're forgetting. We got to talk to our people. because we have to stop and remind the people what we have to do as a people to get by. So right now, don't miss the show. And if you don't share it, I'll share it. But we got to tell the people what's going on. So get ready for the Avril Show. Some may not like me after tonight, but as I say, that's a natural thing. That's a natural thing if they don't, you know. So we got to talk about it. Do not miss my guest tonight. We're coming up in a few minutes. I just love myself tonight. Anytime I'm giving trouble, I love myself more. Anytime I'm about to give trouble, I start biting my lips. So if you see me biting my lips a lot, that's why I'm doing that. You know, because I'm about to give some trouble around here, but good trouble. Good trouble that the people is going to enjoy. No matter where you are tonight, this show is for you. Okay. So if you're on, I thank you. Oh Lord, Paula. No, Paula. It's going to be good. I'm very much saved. I prayed on this show. It's blessed. It's coming to you very blessed. Don't worry about this show tonight. Just wake up and tell the people tonight. If you don't love Avril no more, Tanya Bailey Watson, all the way down there, girl. How you doing? You know, when this man come on my show, he come on like with a force. Let me see if I could get him in here. I'm telling you, when the man Dennis is in on the show, Paula, Dennis is in the house.
Hey, how you doing, sis?
Oh Lord, get together, get together. Paula, what you mean I'm frozen now? Paula, fix your computer. Nobody else say I'm frozen, but you say I'm frozen. Fix your computer, Paula. You need a good computer. Ain't nothing frozen around here. You can't afford to be frozen tonight, girl. Thank you so much, Tanya. Tanya responded, so I know I'm not frozen. Tanika responded, so I'm not frozen. It's all about the peacekeepers around here tonight. We ain't got no time. Dennis, you know, ladies are saying, hi, my friend. Why are they calling you their friend, Dennis? We're not having that.
Don't get jealous. Don't get jealous, sis. I am their friend.
From you come, they come to the event and take all these pictures. I'm getting ready to post those pictures. We have enough proof. I know I'm not frozen, Rosa. Man, they don't know what they're doing. Them old computers they have there. We on tonight, man. This show is serious tonight. We ain't got no time to play games. So if you don't see the attorney Hugh Campbell step on too quick, he's watching. He knows when to step in. That's our attorney. We're well protected around here. So share this and tell the people you can't afford to miss this show because let me tell you something. I gotta share this. I gotta share that. I gotta share this. A must-watch show. I wonder where's my other great man of the hour. You know, we don't have time to waste tonight. Dennis Mohammed, we're here tonight and we're going to talk it like it is because we don't have no time to polish anything, especially if it's not supposed to be polished. We're here tonight to speak to the people. Good evening, Shirley Tripico. Oh Lord, if Shirley's watching, it means that the show is live. So Paula, fix your stuff and come back because we're not into this tonight with frozen and your thing is frozen. No, not tonight. So listen, people, share this program. Let the people know they need to watch this program. Endurance, hello, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while, but hello. So listen, I'm here with the peacemaker, Captain Mohammed. I'm not, tonight is not a joke. We have to talk about us as a people. Why everybody feel that they could put us down. Why every time is something that our people could take the chance as rising, they always have those set of people that we think was for us that try to put us down. Tonight, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about our election. We're going to talk about everything that's going on, not just in New York City. To us as a people, we need to speak. Dennis, go ahead. Tell the people that you're here with us in New York, looking all peace up. But that's who you are. You are the peacekeeper.
Well, first and foremost, always giving honor and praise to God, who's the head of my life, for giving me another chance to get it right. I thank you, dear sister, for giving me this great opportunity that I do not take lightly, nor do I take it for granted. The people that tune in to listen to the great Avril Show are people who want to hear it, as we say in the street, straight with no chaser.
I'm hearing something, and go ahead, talk again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm hearing it. Now it's gone.
All right.
Talk again. Go ahead.
Saying that those who would like to hear your show, they tune into you because they want it straight with no chaser. And so tonight, I'm very honored that we would cover topics that some may deem very controversial, but I think they are timely topics for those of the people who want to hear nothing but the unadulterated truth. And I'm very honored. I am the founder of the Peacekeepers Global Initiative. We have 32 chapters around the country, and one in Trinidad and another in the UK. We're very happy because we wanted to come up with an initiative to reduce the gun violence in our community, but we wanted to come up with an initiative that would change the destructive behavior or culture of our community.
And we're gonna we're gonna change that. And this is where we start, because you're in New York, and
Yeah,
you're not here in vain. But as you see, Dennis, you're here, and you're drinking your tea and staying flush and warm. The weather has changed on us. But let me tell you, all the way in Florida, Endurance, big up yourself. Dennis, I have a serious problem with us as a people. When I look at us, I see us. But when others look at us, I don't know what they see. It seems as if people of color are not supposed to get anywhere close to being a success. Every time the door opens for us, we get a fight. And we always get in a fight from those that we have fought with and helped to get where they are today. But when the table turns, we get a knockdown, we get a push down, and it's time for it to stop. See, listen to me. As you know, there's a race going on in New York now. We have a controller, we have council, we have so many races going on, all the way up to judges. Okay, we have the what am I? I'm getting a little confused now. But we have the mayor race. We have the council race, which is what pissing me off very much. Let me start with the 12th district of the Bronx. For some apparent reason, we have a young man, Kevin Riley, who is already the councilman and is running now again in June, but we have an early election. And I have never seen so much attack on the young man life. I have never seen so much hatred from the very much, should I call them opposition? You're running against a brother. Your skin speak his skin tone, but you're demeanoring him in public just to win a race. Well, when the race over, how do we live in the community with each other? Kevin Riley was attacked so bad by a female. Now, we always talk about women power and women sticking together. I cannot stick with no woman who has no respect for her own brother when it comes to politics. Because if we will run our very own race, good night, Monique, love you, baby. If we would run our race with respect and some dignity behind it, the people will vote. People are losing respect in politics because of all the nasty things that goes on in politics. No, they used to go around and say, we need to put more young people in office. We need young people in office. We need young people. The minute you put a young person in, they're either too young or they're too black. So I want to know, why is Kevin Riley have to be attacked so drastic right in his district? He was accused. His chief of staff was accused. And the person who's running for office is accusing him. Pamela say, oh, I thought you was his baby mama. No, that's the man chief of staff. And in the midst of where she's standing, she's spreading rumors that he have how much baby mamas. The man have his two proud little daughters. And his chief of staff, oh, that's one of the women that he's sleeping with. Just for a race. Now, I'm looking at a video tonight. I was going to send it to you. In the 15th district that I live, I mean, Dennis, they're literally fighting. One team fighting the other. They're tearing down and they're carrying on in the 15th district. What kind of an example are these people showing when you're saying young people must come out and vote? And all they're seeing is this fight with the same people that want to represent us. And then they say defund the police. There was no need to call the police. They need to protect, they need to defend themselves. Police don't have time for all this drama. Now you're here in New York and you're seeing it. You don't vote in New York, but you're here from the Peacekeepers Movement Initiative. And I sure when you finish, you got to visit the 47 precinct, the 49 precinct, Darcel Clark, our DA. You have to spread what you're doing in Ohio. And first, I want to publicly thank you for making sure you got here on time for the Avril Show Foundation. I know you were tired driving all the way from Ohio to New York City. I don't know how you do it, man. I can't even drive from here to Manhattan. But you drove from Ohio and you came out, and I like the way the ladies were hanging around. And I just stand on the side and watch Paula and everybody and Shirley and everybody posing off with you because you look like a real captain that night. But we're going to talk about Black folks. And I want to, before I go any further, thank my sponsor who couldn't be there, but yeah, I would say Best Deal was in the house. Thanks to them for the television, 55-inch television that they sponsored. And congratulations to Monica for winning that, Teddy Nissan for coming on board, and McCall's Bronx with Funeral Home, who sponsored that event. I thank you all. Paula, thank you for spending your birthday with us, and Pauline Gray and everybody who came out, and the women group and everybody who came out and make this event a success. Most of all, thank you to the foundation. So real, Barry, see you soon on the Avril Show, but let's go, Dennis. I want to find out what's going on with us as Black folks, that Black people don't deserve a chance when it comes to a position that is higher than Vanessa Gibson City Council. The attack on this woman make me have to come out of my shelf and say, now it's time for me to speak out. All this thing about we, true Puerto Rican, true this, it's very hurtful to know that we, people of color, will stand behind anybody. But when it comes to us, we don't deserve a chance in office.
Well, let me say this, that no organization, no religious institution, or no people have copyrights on self-hatred. What you're looking at when you look at politics, you're looking at a system that has been a system of some of the worst kind of attacks. You cannot get into the race of politics as what they call, listen, a public figure, and your personal life don't become public. That's part of politics. Your opponent's job is to derail you. Your opponent's job is to defeat you. And like Malcolm would say, by any means necessary. So it becomes a serious mudslinging thing. And my job is to find as much mud and to dig up dirt, hoping that the dirt that I would dig up on you would hinder people to vote for you. That's the business of politics. And if anyone gets into politics and think that it's a walk in the park, I think they had been deceived. History has shown some of the worst mudslinging comes out of politics. So if young brother is being slung, I don't know about the women and his personal business and why this, that, and the other. I'm speaking from general, not specific. And generally, when we get into politics, we take on the same sick mindset of that party. And the party is blue or the party is red. Look at the red party. Oh my God, the Republican Party. You would not believe how they can have a man that they had as the leader of this country and not see him as a liar, as if we all blind, deaf, and dumb. But then we can go into the blue party. And the blue party is no different. It's just a pile of tricks. And even though everywhere we look at, sis, wherever you find black politicians, I remember back in the early 60s when Reverend King was marching for black folks to get what we call then civil rights. We didn't have no black mayors. Back then, we didn't have no black police chiefs. Back then, we hardly had any black police officers. And we worked hard to get our people in these positions. And then when we started getting our first black mayor, you had Coleman Young, you had Marion Barron. Then we start moving up, and then we start getting black police chiefs. Then we start getting black senators and congressmen. But look at it, sis. Everywhere that we've had a black administration, the condition of black people has not changed.
Right, right.
So why would we get upset when people lose confidence in politics? People lose confidence in voting because they don't see nothing that comes out of it that have changed the quality of life of black people. So those who are in the race, what is the benefit? Have we held them accountable? If you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. You didn't choose nobody. We do not go to a voting booth. And then when we vote, sister, there's a ticket that says a moral ticket. We don't vote on a moral ticket. Never have we voted for our politicians on a moral ticket.
Right, right,
We
right.
voted for them on a moral ticket, there will not be a politician we can vote for. Because ain't none of them morally not damaged or tainted morally. So you don't choose a politician based upon a moral ticket, but we choose them based upon the best of what we know of them, the best of what they have done, the best relationship. But come on, sis. I mean, it's the same soup warmed over, but this time in the microwave.
Yeah, but what I'm saying now is that it's time to give somebody a chance. And to give someone a chance, everyone deserves a chance. This is a race now where we have to choose a council. We have to choose a board president. We have to choose a controller. We have so much that's going on here in New York. As you say, we need people with morals. We need to change the way we vote for people. You don't vote for people because of the color of the skin. You vote for somebody who's can fight for the people, stand up and make a difference. Somebody whose voice you're going to hear. I stand here proud to say I endorse Vanessa Gibson because I see her work in the past. I know her history. You hear her speak and you will sit and listen.
Any woman that would knock on 600 doors As she said, she knocked on 600 doors and she had to stop because it was getting late and people ain't hearing nobody knock on their door no 9 o'clock at night. But you can't get no more dedicated than that you knock on 600 doors to introduce yourself. I was very impressed of her. I never met her before, but at that event, I met her. She seems to be a very, very wonderful human being, warm personality, a people's person. And from what people were saying about her, she was most certainly a woman who the people respect and know she's a go-getter. So I think that if we had a choice, and all of us have a choice, and I agree with you, sis, it's a very serious political climate in New York, even to the point of the mayor's race. Vote your conscience, but most certainly they can't do no worse. If I had a choice to pick who I'm going to vote for, of course I'm going to vote for someone I know personally or someone who I followed their career, of course. And of course, the problem with us, sis, and this is the big problem with Black people. See, politics is defined, listen to this, sister, as the power to influence. I'm going to say that again. Politics is defined as the power to influence. The very reason we vote for people, we vote for them because we believe that they can influence policymakers, use their influence to bring about a change. I can't vote for nobody if they ain't got the power to influence. Why would I vote for them? I'm hoping to vote for them so they get down in city council and influence the rest of the council members to help back our agenda, not the politician's agenda. The politician don't have an agenda. The agenda for the politician is the people's agenda. And that's where we kind of think that Black people need to be more educated. How do a politician come before his constituents or before the people and tell the people what he's going to do? There's a song. It's called The Ball of Confusion. And it's by The Temptation. And one part in it, it talks about vote for me and I'll set you free. Rap on, brother, rap on. Well, what is this saying? That's always been the language of politicians. Vote for me. I'll do this for you. I'll do that for you. I'll do this for you. And okay. But the reality of being a politician, in my humble opinion, is to be able to go before the people and ask them, what do you want me to do? And they would say to any politician, I want you to clean up the garbage. I want you to be hard on crime. I want you to did that and other. Thank you. And I would promise you, I would go down to City Hall and do what you want me to do. But if you come before the people and you tell the people what you're going to do, I think that's a little bit backwards. And I think we need to be very careful when people come and give us their agenda, but we don't even accept the agenda of the people. And we don't normally hold them accountable. We're the only people. We have put politicians in the positions of power and we leave them, and that's it. We don't go and back them in city council. We don't go to none of their meetings. We don't do it. And the next thing you know, they're looking for the people to put them in power, and they're not around. And
Amen.
keep them vulnerable for other people to come and buy them.
And you just said it, because listen to me. For so long they have spoken, make promises. I was very quiet until I see the attack on Vanessa constantly, and even Kevin Riley over the weekend. Then, but before I could finish the show tonight, there is another fight in District 15. As someone say here on the post tonight, if they can't, as you said, they can't take the heat, stay out the kitchen. I love the way Vanessa is just moving. She don't have time to stop to even text or respond. She's on the move. She do not have that time. We are joined here tonight by attorney Hugh Campbell, the bulldog attorney of the Bronx, the man who don't go in the courtroom to lose a fight, lose a battle. And he's here tonight because he stand with what we're standing for tonight. Why is it impossible for Vanessa Gibson to lead the Bronx? Then you come out, you make a flyer and you're posting a flyer. to Puerto Ricans. So I want to know, we voted for Puerto Ricans. We voted, and Ruben Diaz was on a Zoom meeting the other night, and he thanked our Speaker, Carly Hasty, and the 12th district who helped to put him in office. Then why is it he can say that, but these people now are acting as if it takes only the Puerto Rican to put someone in office? I won't even give them the respect tonight, because I urge my people to go out and put Vanessa Gibson in office so we can make a difference and have somebody who care not just about us, but about the people of the Bronx in which she serves, for Bronx Borough President. Good evening, Attorney Hugh Campbell.
Good evening, Ms. Avril. How are you today?
Well, I'm great. I'm great. And you joined me tonight. I really don't understand really what's happening here in the Bronx. But I am not going to sit here and be silent anymore, because I am tired. I think that we as people of color, many times we are taken for granted. We have helped others to get to the top. Then I want to know, why is it so difficult for someone to accept us going to the top? And it's okay. That is politics. It's a race. It's nasty. Everybody fighting for power. But I've seen Ruben Diaz and everybody else run their race and do what they have to do and focus on winning a race. But you have this Cabrera team that is out there, and it's all about, well, I'm not for him, but I'm getting paid. Listen, when you have your people going around spreading all this propaganda and doing what they're doing because they get paid, then they're helping to fail the communities in which we're trying to live and rise up. Because if you are just working for somebody because you're getting paid, but you're not for that person, you're helping to destroy your community. Why not work for the person who you feel can make a difference in the community? When the election is over, what is going to happen to us as a people if you put the wrong person in office? So I say to the people, if you're going to follow me, if you're going to tell me run for office since I'm not running, then I'm urging you to do one thing for me. Vote for the person that you know can speak, can represent, can defend, and it's about everybody, not just a few people. Thank you so much, Philip. Thank you. This is the woman that we're fighting for. But I guess it comes down to someone saying, well, I got to vote, work with Cabrera because, you know, we're from the same place and we are both Latinos. That have nothing to do with it. I wouldn't vote for her if I didn't feel she can do the job. I'm voting for her because I feel that she knows we have police issues. She's strong in that. She's strong in the community. I have watched her. I've listened to this woman, and when she opened her mouth, I just stay quiet. If you think I can talk, when she opened her mouth, you won't listen to me. So I'm urging the people, if you're out there, spread the word. Tell your family if they don't know. Let them know who we are voting for. So Attorney Hugh Campbell, tonight, I'm going to turn it over to you because Dennis and I, all the way in St. Kitts. How are you doing, Carmen? Thank you so much. Send me another shirt. But anyway, we got to talk about this tonight. Why are we voting? The importance of our vote. Ruben Diaz is getting ready to pass the torch, and I want him to pass it to somebody who is going to make him proud and make the Bronx proud. And that person is Vanessa Gibson. Go right ahead.
Well, I think, Brother Mohammed, how you doing today?
Hey, how you doing, Tony?
Pretty good. I think what's important, Avril, I think, when we look at elections, it's more about not the person, but it's the seat and what the person is able to accomplish. And I think too often we get caught up in personalities as opposed to substance. And I think, we need to encourage our folks to look at substance. And one of the things that I find myself doing very frequently, especially of late, I said, you know what? Don't just call somebody and take somebody's word for it. I said, we live in a society where we have information very much available at, we're basically walking around with that encyclopedia in the palms of our hands, and we can do all the research that we want. We can look at just about everything we want to look for. And what I find is that we do not avail ourselves to those resources, and we make bad decisions because we don't avail ourselves to the resources. So it's not about the person, it's about who is best qualified to do a particular job. And we need to do our research and see who is best qualified. And when we say best qualified, who, and who has the ability to lead us through what we're going through at this particular moment. And I think sometimes you might have a person who might be qualified. And I'm going to just give you an example. I think right now through the pandemic, we're going through the pandemic. I can't think of anybody, that I think is probably more prepared for the job than our president right now, because he's just got that down home compassion to deal with people as we're going through the struggle. And I think that's one of the things we need, is somebody who knows how to get the job done and knows how to connect with people, because we're going through some very, very difficult times, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. I just want to say that it's going to get much worse before it gets better. So at the end of the day, who do you want to be out there having your back as we go through these trying times?
It's on the screen. It's on the screen. It's time for us to make a difference. Share the information. Share this wealth of information. People don't even understand. I have 2 people that went to vote, Dennis. And after voting, they said to me, I didn't know the judges. I didn't vote for no judge. Now, the judge is very important in this election. But I don't think that we, the people, was made aware enough of who these judges are. So this is what I'm talking about. We fail many times because of lack of information. But I'm pushing harder than ever. If nothing else, everyone say I'm voting for the mayor, I'm voting for this. And you hear one famous name when you hear about mayor for New York City. And if you ask a brother or sister who they're running for, I want them to put it on the screen, who they're voting for mayor. But I know we have to clean up our backyard first. And my backyard is Kevin Riley for the 12th District of the Bronx. Kevin Riley, Vanessa Gibson for Bronx Borough President. That's the 2 fights that I'm having now. So we have to make that clear, that if you're out there and you're in the 12th District or your family in the 12th District, Kevin Riley. And for Bronx Borough President, we're going to continue this race. We're going to run this race with Vanessa Gibson. So women, Dennis, you're a man. You're a peacekeeper. And as you said, we want people with substance, people who have some kind of morals with them, that I see that they're losing now in this race, because everything based on color of skin. We, as I say, of color, we don't vote for you because you're black or white. We vote for you because you think you're right for the job.
But Avril, I'm going to share something with you, because I remember, many, many years ago when Jesse Jackson first ran on that presidential campaign, and somebody asked him a question. I remember him saying that, you know what, when you're running a race, you keep your eyes straight ahead of you, because if you look to the right, you run the risk of tripping. If you look to the left, you run the risk of tripping. If you look behind you, you're not moving forward. So I think that's one of the things we really have to do, is to just stay focused ahead of us. Don't look to the right, don't look to the left, because when you look to the right and look to the left, then you're actually engaging in distraction and you actually run the risk of tripping. So we just got to stay focused until the day after the election. That's what we got to do.
We got to stay focused. But in the same time, good evening to you, Gonzalez Taylor. How are you running for judge? Substance, yes. We don't have much of that. And I'm seeing it more than ever, that when I look at my family, I cannot ever sit down and say, because a person is Spanish, or a person is, they like to use the word Latino. I could be anything you want me to be. Because in my heart, I love you no matter who you are. We are going to vote for the person who is going to make a difference here in the Bronx, the North, the East, the South, and the West. That's what we are looking for. The Bronx is failing. There's too much needs to be met in the borough of the Bronx. And if we're going to vote for somebody because he's Latino, you have a serious issue. Because when Fernando team is over, those are the same people who's going to tell you he's dirt. And I don't want to hear it then. So I might as well speak about it now. It don't make sense to say you're not for him, but you're working for him. But what we don't have is loyalty and trust. Even though politics is what it is, we can change that. But the thing about it is they will get anybody to work for them if it means going out and throwing dirt on the person who is right for the job. We got to put an end to that nonsense. We can't have it. Dennis, you're here. You're watching crime. You're watching homelessness. You're watching mental issue. You're watching the streets in New York overtaken by mental issues. You go to Montefiore right now, and I guarantee you, if they have a bed in there available for someone with mental issue, they're probably overcrowded. But you're sitting down running a nasty race. We need somebody who could help us. So go ahead, Attorney Hugh Campbell, because I'm very upset.
No. I'm just saying, but you see, I mean, the nature of politics is that you're always going to have people running nasty race. You have it on the presidential level, you have it on the citywide level, you have it on a statewide level. That's always going to happen. And I think what we really need to do is to really try to bring out the best in people, because there are people out there that's going to say, you know, don't vote for this person because of this color of their skin, their race, their nationality. But I think at the end of the day, we're all going to have to get together if we want to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Because remember now, we all have a vested interest in the Bronx. And I think after the 22nd, what you'll find is that everybody's going to have to come together if indeed we want to make the Bronx a better place. So we all have to kind of tone down the rhetoric when it comes to throwing, you know, dirt at people, because after the race is done, you have to shake hands and say, hey, here we are. Let's get to work. The better person won. Let's get to work and clean up the Bronx and get the job done. So, you know, we shouldn't get distracted as to, you know, because race is a contention. I mean, it's a competition. It's a competition. But once it's over, you have to realize that you shake hands and you move on and you start doing the work of the people. And I think that's really critical, very critical.
Well, we're ready to work. We're ready to shake hands. But the fight needs to stop. It don't look good. Because you have people saying, if this is what they're doing, why am I wasting my time voting? I say vote. All you got to do, don't vote for the person that you see is a problem. If you can sit down and demean a young man as Kevin Riley the way that she did, and you're asking for the vote of the people, but this is the character you're putting out there, that's not good. How could you accuse the chief of staff? You don't even know that she was the chief of staff. Or you're accusing the woman of being one of the women, his baby mamas. I never heard this young man have baby mamas anywhere. But now you're coming up with all kind of dirt.
But Avril, I think one of the things, and I keep saying it, certain conversation you don't even dignify. You just let it go, because when you dignify certain things, you add fuel to the fire. You keep something burning. If you leave it alone, it dies because it makes no sense. And sometimes we have to keep doing that. That's what it means, focusing straight, because people are always going to say certain things. But you want to know something? If you let it go, it's going to die a natural death. Don't add credibility where there's no credible story. Don't add credibility where there's no credible story. So when you repeat something, it's just like they always tell you, don't repeat it, because if a news media doesn't pick it up the first time, leave it alone, because if you repeat it 2 or 3 times, another media is going to pick it up and another one picks it up, then it becomes a story. So leave it alone.
Attorney Hugh Campbell, sometime we need a story, because I'm going to tell you what. Hold on. If you don't know these people's character, you may vote for the wrong person. Sometimes you have to call them out. Sometimes you have to call them out. Because if you don't know the character and you judge them based on their hairstyle and the way they dress, you may think they're somebody decent. Mm-hmm. And that is why we go around and put the wrong person in office. Qualification is a must. Vanessa Gibson is a strong woman. And not just strong because she can lift me up and put me down. I don't think she could lift up Dennis Mohammed. Okay? Because Dennis going to make peace first with her as a strong black woman. Because I know Dennis, you listen to her speak, you watch her, you study her work, I followed her over the years. I know what she stands for. I know she can break ceilings. I know she can break glass windows. And I know all that she can do. What more do we need? We need a qualified person for the job. When Ruben Diaz walk out of office, I want to feel proud that the Bronx is moving ahead. You can call on a Bronx borough president for whatever you need to get done. The door is open to the people. We don't need the people that are only one-sided and only thinking of one side of the Bronx and one set of people. If we continue to do that, our people are going to just sit back and complain, oh, they're not for us. We have the District 15 race, there is a fight. Who are we voting for? So you might as well just, as Attorney Hugh Campbell said, don't look over there, then go over here. We got to vote for somebody who has some kind of a quality about them. I'm tired of it. So Dennis, you're here in New York. We need unity, yes, Gonzalez, we need unity. And that's all we need. And I'm not seeing that. All I'm seeing is a constant fight. So why should we waste time?
Now, let me say this. I think my brother, you did a fantastic job of laying it out for us that we get sidetracked to the personality and not recognizing the substance, which is the function of the office. You know, Bronx has the same issues that Manhattan have, Queen has, Brooklyn has. It's the same issues. Mm-hmm. And the question is, we always want to make a politician Superman and Superwoman. I love the spirit of Miss Gibson. And I believe she's going to be good at what she do when she's put in the best position, which is the position she desires. There's a saying that goes like this: your determination will lead you to your destination. Whatever you are determined to do, it would lead you to where you want to go. Yep. He is determined. If my brother is determined, it's going to lead them there. There's nothing greater than a made-up mind. We're going to have opposition. That's life. There is nothing that we can do about adversity. Mm-hmm. But let's not lose focus on what is the agenda. I don't want to know nothing about the personal dirt on any individual or this, that, and other. What is the agenda? Yep. What are you going to do? If I put you in office, what you going to do? And let me say this to us as a people. The power is not in the politician. The power is in the people. You can't look at them to do something if you don't back them and get them. All they do, listen to me, they just give the people access. I get in if I'm a judge. I think the greatest elections are always local elections. To me, they're greater than national elections because we could change a judge. We could change a prosecutor. We could change a councilman. We could change a mayor. We can do that. That's something we have the power to do. But what happens is you have to look at all of the unregistered voters in the Bronx. Why are not people voting? Why are there so many young people who are qualified to register but not unregistered? Because we never took time to have forms to educate people the power of vote. We never did that. Malcolm used the phrase ballot or the bullet. Well, you know, there's a generation they never knew what Malcolm said. But those of us who've been around, do we know what he meant when he said ballot or the bullet? If we can define it as adults and say, well, I knew what he meant by it, do we really? Because when Malcolm said ballot or the bullet, what he was saying is both of these will bring about a change. You can have change by a bullet or you can have change by the ballot. Most countries, third world countries, had changed through the bullet. Right. That was called coups, revolution. And then there's those that can vote change. So what do we want? Ballot or both can bring about a change? Now the question is, we have to make sure, as I like what Hugh said, don't lose focus on what the objective is. What is the agenda? How are we going to deal with this damn increase of crime? How are we going to deal with the mental health issues that seem to be popping up all throughout America? How are we going to deal with homelessness? How are we going to deal with teenage pregnancy? How are we going to deal, man, with single parenting homes? How are we going to get the Black family back together? Are we going to let the Willie Lynch syndrome divide the Hispanics against the Blacks? We're not falling for that okie doke. We family. We family. And if we allow people to begin to play the race game with us, that's crazy. That's very crazy. Because we got to understand, man, the same man that got his foot on my neck got his foot on your neck too. So we have to, and what Hugh said, this is the beautiful thing. If you lost, you go across the aisle, you shake hands, you say, good race. Good race. That was a good race. And then work together, because what you have to bring is important. Whatever their agenda was, it can be added to it. We have to learn what they call operational unity. We have to practice operational unity. So how are we going to talk about these young people? They need to sit down and solve their beef. We need conflict resolution with the young people so they can stop it. Hell, we need conflict resolution with politicians. We need to sit them in the room so they can settle their beefs. How can young people take us as an example when they seeing us scurrying and scratching at each other, and then we expect them to be better? Get out of here. So let's stay focused. All I want to know is, if you're going to be the next borough president, and I put you in a form of young men and young women, they're going to ask you questions. And they're going to ask you, the questions going to want an honest answer. If I put you in as a prosecutor, DA, or a judge, they want to ask you questions. And they deserve an answer. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what you're going to do. How are we going to solve this problem? What is in your mind as a politician that you see? Because your methodology may be outdated. You may come with the same old suit. Man, we done heard that before. How many borough presidents y'all had in the Bronx? How many councilmen y'all had? Look at the condition of the Bronx. They're not the first politicians. But if you keep on doing the same old thing over and over and you expect every result, that is called crazy.
Yep.
And that's why we're changing crazy. Because we got to go from looking at the color of anybody's skin to the person who is most qualified to do the job.
But I think one of the things that Brother Mohammed said, which is very critical, when we talk about adversity, and I think that's very critical, because normally when I judge someone's ability, I want to see how they operate under pressure. I want to see how they operate under different circumstances. If a person folds just like that, then I'm going to question your ability. But if you can withstand pressure and work under different environment and different circumstances, then I know that you're ready for the job. If the only thing that you can do when the going gets tough is throw mud, then I'm really concerned about you, because then you're not coming to me with substance. I'm looking for the person who's going to come with substance to solve a problem. Come to me with a solution. But if you're just throwing mud, then I know that mud is not going to stick. So I get very concerned.
You hear what we're talking about? We're talking about the person who could stand the pressure. So no matter what's going on in the community, we know those strong people. Man, I'm going to tell you, I will keep repeating it until the horse come home. I say tonight, I endorse and I forever, and I'm going to stick with this. The dirt has been thrown, but we're dealing well under pressure. So, Attorney Hugh Campbell, it seems like you tell me tonight I'm on the right track. And as in the 15th district, I said to you, if this continue, I'm going to move to the 11th. because they already threw me out of the 12. I get too much trouble there. But they can't keep me out because I got to also vote for Kevin Riley again for the 12th district. Because if we have someone in office, whether it's in the 15th, the 11th, the 10th, the Bronx Bowl president, a good mayor, do you know the great city that we will have? So we are looking to have a chain. We're looking to have hands across the Bronx again, where we could hold each other hand and say, let's get to work. That's what we're looking for. Not when I go in office. You have some people out there's a bunch of threat. If I get in office, this is what I'm going to do. We don't even want to listen to them. We want to focus on the people who could get the job done. That's what we're talking about tonight. Who are you voting for? Are you voting for somebody because they did something for you once and you like them and they pretend to be nice because there's no election around the corner? Or you're looking for somebody who have a track record of making a difference? That's what we're looking for. And so, and Dennis, a lot of times you have these people who come and want to say they're with the politicians. They're not really with them. They're with themselves. Because they go in there and expect, oh, when she get in office, she better do this for me. He better do this for me. If he don't do this, if she don't do this. They're not putting them in there to change the Bronx. They're putting them in there to think that they could control what they do for themselves, for their own personal agenda. This ain't gonna happen. We need strong people in office who say, hey, it's not just about you, it's about the people of the Bronx. Dennis, you're here. And I know for a reason, one of it you're here. You're tired of the crime. You're tired of what's going on. You've been fighting for years. You're from the Peacemakers Initiative, I call you. You're a peacemaker. You have done it for me already.
Well, let me say this. I want to say this, sister, and I thank you so much for your kind words. But I'm not tired because I've learned that you get tired when you are working against yourself. I've learned that crime and violence is not going nowhere. And I don't have to rush to try to stop it. It's not going. Take my time. And this is what happens with us as a people. We're very responsive. We do not do nothing until something happens. We don't have a proactive agenda. We are very reactionary. We're very emotional. We are here killing and oh man, my God, and here we go. And how long do that last? How long do that emotion last? And then we go right back to business as usual because we have nothing. I did a post. I would rather sit in a conversation with 10 people who talking about the solution than to be in a conversation with 100 people talking about the problem. We have to be able to now rise above our emotions and start looking into the reality of what we have to deal with. Look at our reality. Our reality is on a national level. We have a very self-destructive behavior that is not conducive to life in our community. And we have adapted to that. We have not took and did the necessary things to change it because in our mind, we can't believe we can change it. For some reason, I don't know where we got that from. But the solution is very simple. It's not really complicated. It's only complicated when you don't have the desire to do it. I love our people. I love Black folks. I love how my Hispanic brothers is. I love my Jamaican brothers, my Caribbean, my West Indian. I love my Trinidadian, but I love. But I know we're all part of the Black family. But when you let people divide the Hispanics, the Jamaicans from the Hispanics and the Puerto Ricans from the Dominicans and the Dominicans, if we allow that to happen, then the old Willie Lynch syndrome, where he said, find their differences and use their differences to divide them. Put the light-skinned Negro against the dark-skinned Negro. Put the field Negro against the house Negro. And here we are. And we living out the Willie Lynch syndrome and don't even know we living it out. One thing I love about the West Indies, and this is what the minister Farrakhan, mother is from St. Kitts. He's from Wisconsin. He's from the West End. Okay.
All right. All
What
right.
I love about that is the consciousness that the brothers and sisters from the islands bring to America. It's not like the Negroes over here. You come from a place of substance. Your attitude is different. You see things different. When you see a thing, you want it and take it. But then you come and don't understand sometimes. Well, you do understand that you're looking at damaged goods. 379 years of damaged goods. And people would come in America and take advantage of all the opportunities while we've been in America and we don't. And they wonder, well, what's happening? Why you people don't take advantage of the opportunities? Because we damage goods. And one of the things we have to understand is we need each other. We don't need to point no fingers. I'm better than you. I live on the hill, nigga. You live in the valley. I got this, and I'm got a doctorate degree, but you ain't got no degree. Come on. The condition is so bad that none of us can hold our head up high as if we proud. What are we proud of? To hear you, Sister Avril, upset because you're seeing the mudslinging of people that you know personally? And you can't, and it's upsetting because it's like a family member. So when you see people come after family members, and even though it's somebody you know, nobody wants to see that kind of fighting. But that's the dirtiness of that kind of politics. We have always known, if you want to get somebody else to be the winner in any political race, they call it split the vote. How do you split the vote? You put two dominant people to make the people have to figure out who to go with, and then you split the vote, and the one that's in there who's hardly there by a thread, they the one who gets into the office because the other two is bickering. They've done that game in politics ever since I've known something about politics. I can't believe that we have not matured in advance from that kind of thinking. I can't believe that, but it's real. Let's stick to the facts. I'm looking to sit down with our DA. I love that sister.
Oh, yes.
Listen.
And I'll be taking you to an event. Tanika, we coming out. We're coming out, Tanika. We coming to support you. We have a lot to do. I'm taking you to the precinct. I'm taking you to make peace, to teach us something, because you are who you are. And right now, as Hugh Campbell say, we're focusing on the race. You see, I call them out. The greatest gift is that you don't have the people that I support out there wasting time, bickering and fighting with nobody. As you said, Vanessa knocking 600 doors. I don't know what shoes she's wearing, but I was about to buy her a pair of sneakers that have a good insole. I was about to give her a pair of pink sneakers that when she finished with that sneaker, she will show us how much it worn out. I guess you, Campbell, you could buy a pair, because that woman, I don't know if she sleep. I don't know if she sleep, but Vanessa have always been that woman, that strength of a woman. And it's because she believes in the Bronx and knows she wants to do it. And one of the reasons she's fighting so hard, and I'm so touched and impressed by it, is for our former deputy board president, Aurelia Green. People will say, oh, you're not doing this because you have something to prove. She got something to prove. Because Aurelia Green shoe is a big shoe. She might have been the Bronx board president. She was the former Bronx deputy board president who have paved the way for so many. When I think of her, I think of the Marcus Crespo. I always think of Vanessa Gibson. I always think of Ruben Diaz and all those people that she have helped to become who they are. Well, I want Vanessa Gibson to prove to me, if nobody else, not even Attorney Hugh Campbell, that she will dry my tears on June 22nd when the Bronx elect her as the next Bronx board president, to keep Aurelia's dream and legacy alive. That is to fight for the people of the Bronx. And I stand on my word tonight. We need to vote for people, not because we like them, not because my family know them, but because they have what it takes to do the job, and that's qualification. As a woman, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to hear from Attorney Hugh Campbell, because I just like when I come on and I'm just by myself and feel alone and I have strong man there next to me, because women need to hear. When a man says I'm supporting a woman, it says a lot too, because there was a time you think men stand with men, but we're hearing the men saying, I stand with Vanessa Gibson. Endorsement is not a vote. But when so many believe in her that they want to endorse her, it says a lot. So we want to spread this like we're spreading violence and we're spreading rumors. We want to spread this. Who is our next board president? Who is our next district leader? Who is our next councilman? We need to know our community. Take your community back and vote for the right people, because we don't know the judges. Attorney Hugh Campbell, that's a problem we have. The judge is so important, but people are voting and walking out. But they say, I didn't vote for a judge. Why?
Well, you see, one of the things that I always encourage folks to do, Avril, and I always say when I address crowds and I address folks, and I always encourage them, I said, we all walk around with that little device in our hands. We walk around with it, but we don't understand the power of that little device in our hand that we call the cell phone. We think it's only, it has a good, it's an iPhone, it's a status symbol, whatever the case might be. But that's a very, very critical tool that we walk around with. And nobody should walk into the election polling site and say they don't know who the candidates are, because all you got to do is to plug anything into Google and you will find out the answer 1, 2, 3. So the question becomes, you go in and you go to the board, you put in Brown's judicial candidates or whatever the case might be, that's going to pop up 1, 2, 3. Read about the judges, read about every candidate who is running for office, because we have to understand that on the 23rd or sometime thereafter, you're going to get up and complain about some services that's not being rendered in your community. And then the question will be, what role did you have in selecting the right person to address those issues? So we all are invested in this election. We all have to take a minute or two to read about the candidates, read about the borough president, read about the city council people, read about the mayoral candidate, read about the judges. Because why? Because if you end up in court, if somebody's suing you in court, one of these credit card companies, and you have to go to civil court because you're being sued, these are the judges that's there. And the question is that, do you need judges with compassion? Do you need judges that's going to understand, when someone was a victim of a crime or someone was a victim of a fraud or something like that? So you need people who have a certain level of sensitivity. So that's why it's important for you to read about these judges, read their background, where they're from. Is this somebody who I want to sit in judgment of my case? So we can tell you, but you've got to go in and feel it as you go to the polling site and cast that vote. You have to feel it as you really try to convince your neighbor to vote for someone else. So it's very important for us to do our research. A lot of you will get pieces of stuff in the mail, but I always tell some of my colleagues, I say, beware of the bright and shiny object. That's not always the best thing, because something can be dull and beat up, but it can be better than the bright and shiny object. As they always tell us growing up, all that glitter is not gold. So the mere fact that somebody can send you a piece of mail in every other day doesn't necessarily mean that's the best candidate. But what you got to do is look at the substance. Substance is very, very important when you're trying to elect a candidate. Who was there in the beginning? Who is there now? Who's going to be there in the future? Who is with you in good times and who's with you in bad times? That's really what you're looking for. Not just somebody who showed up when the lights are on. Who is there in the darkness with you? And that becomes very critical.
And you see, that's a problem. Even though you mean it one way, I'm going to say, you have some politicians. I went to an event the other day, don't know the young man, but he put his banner right where the camera was. So it came off as if he was having the event. So he even used the personal event to promote himself. I said, if you're that slick, then you can't be trusted. You see what I'm saying, Dennis? They come around when the lights are on, when the cameras are on. But some of them will say, how many people going to be there? Then you find the politicians who come out, even if it's 5 people there. Okay?
Yep.
They're here to support you. Some will tell you, I wouldn't come until the crowd is there. It's all about the crowd, the spotlight, the camera, and then action. I don't like that. So if you can't support someone who's trying to make a difference in the community, then you're not for the people. It don't have to be a large crowd, but you can make that crowd look like a big crowd because you were there. Make a difference. That's what
Yep.
I'm talking about. We need real troopers in politics. And we are not voting for politicians. The days of politicians is over. And I learned this from someone that I love and respect, is the mayor of Mount Vernon. The mayor, our mayor of Mount Vernon. We don't vote for politicians anymore. We vote for elected officials. We elect you.
Yep.
The days of politics are over. Dennis, you're here in New York. Every day you turn around, they say defund the police. But every time you turn around, the crime is going up. People are dying on the street. The killing, the robbery, the raping is on a rise. We need somebody who could stand up and speak out, not somebody going to come out every day and bash the police. We need someone who could sit with the police along with the peacekeepers and say, how can we make a difference? That's what we're looking for. People who could make change. People who see what's going on, and people who've been on this road for a long time, like you, Dennis Mohammed, even though you're only 40. We need somebody who've been on that road, on that journey, and could help NYPD, and could help Ohio, and could help Texas. You're all over the world making changes. And they're sitting back talking about defund the police. But who is out here helping us?
But let me
When the
say this, Avril. The word that they're using quite a bit that is enraged law enforcement is the word defund. I'm not down with defunding the police. But when I look at the gross torture and killing of Mr. Green in Louisiana, the state troopers 2 years released a camera where they absolutely tortured this man that he was crying for Jesus and then killed him. And then 2 years later, we find out about it. We see the video camera. And it was not like it was the first time of the Louisiana state troopers. This was a second incident. So with that, I said, well, you know what? They need to be defund, the state troopers in Louisiana. I'm not saying the local, but they need to be defund. If you're paying as a taxpayer the paycheck of those police officers, the police are getting paid by the citizens of the state of Louisiana. We are paying the NYPD. The NYPD get a check from the city of New York that is taken out of your check, my check. We don't even know who FICA is. You look on your check, you see all these deductions. But those deduction pays for law enforcement. And I think that if I'm paying for a service, then should I not get quality service for what I paid for? And anytime I pay for a service where I don't get what I paid for, should I have the right to not pay for that service? We can't stop any funding to go to the police? Of course not. But how do we tell law enforcement when you see them in the community and there's an increase of crime and they ain't bringing it down? What do you say to law enforcement when you see all of these homicides and there's 60 to 70% unsolved homicides? You're not catching the bad. What do we say? We're paying for you to do a service, but we're not getting nothing from that service. Should we continue to pay? So the people use the word defund them. Take away the money, damn it. And if we're going to take away that money, where do we give it to? Give it to the community organizations. We can't do no worse. We need to start looking at funding organizations. Now, I'm not down with taking no money from a police department, but I am down with holding them accountable for the quality of service that they should provide to their clients. See, Hugh Campbell, he has what you call clients. What did he look like as an attorney disrespected his clients? How long would they be his clients? How long would the police be our clients? How long would the police be our sir? We the customers. So my attitude is this: we have to speak straight language. Words matter. And so if we're going to talk about and it becomes an excuse, and I'm not thinking that defunded police is going to be a reality, but you know what? It sure got their underwears in a bunch. It sure got the police talking. It sure got them a little upset. Oh, now you concerned about being defunded. Let me tell you something. And maybe Mr. Campbell, you can tell me this. If civil rights attorneys, they sue law enforcement, as we know Ben Crump have been doing with all these cases, he sued. And the city settles. The city settles. The city settles. The police department don't settle. The city settles. Wouldn't it be nice that if police behavior has become so gross and abusive that they could kill a person, we don't no longer take the money from the city that we taxpayer. So we taxpayer are paying twice. We're paying for a police department to abuse the people and doing a settlement, and we're paying for a police department that ain't doing nothing. Why don't we talk about taking out of the police budget? Every time one of your guys do something and they get sued, we ain't taking it from the city. We're going to take it out of your damn budget. Yes, you ain't going to have a police car now. You're going to have more vests. You're going to have so what? But if we start taking the money from your budget, then maybe you would put your damn officers in check status.
What do you think about that, attorney?
Well, I think he's on to something, because I'm going to tell you that many years ago, there was a study done in the city of New York, and I was kind of privy to the information that was furnished. And basically what they did was they studied how to hold the city more accountable. And there was a finding. The finding basically was that the reason why, you don't get the quality service you do is because, for example, if you hit a pothole and you get seriously injured, that money comes out of the city's general budget. If you get, beat up by a police officer, that money comes out of the city's general budget. So what you have is that all the settlements out there comes out of the city's general budget. There was indeed a recommendation, and I'm talking about back in the 90s now. That's how long ago we go back. There was indeed a recommendation back then that those settlements should be paid from the department's budget as opposed from the general fund. Because if Department of Transportation saw that they were paying out X amount of dollars per year and they had less money, then they would be a little bit more conscientious. The same thing goes with the police department. The same thing goes with the parks department, and so forth and so on. So that was something, and as a matter of fact, it was a city who actually commissioned that study, and they hired a particular company, and when the results came back, it just kind of died, and no one really paid attention to it. I think that's something that we can do, and I think that if they use that finding going back to the 90s, that would be a very useful tool to reduce and reduce liability, and to hold some of these companies responsible, like the police department, Department of Education, sanitation department. If everything was coming out of their individual budget and the head of those departments had to account for it, then you'd have a different approach. But as long as it comes out of general budget, then there's no accountability. So that's one of the things, and I think you just hit the nail on the head. But going back to the defund the police, I think that's something that I've been kind of toying with. The more I listen to it, and some of the things that because I'm always concerned sometimes about the end result. I'm always concerned about the collateral damage that might occur when you start doing certain things. And one of the things that comes to mind as we talk about defunding the police is that what we know, what I would love to see happen is that we try to recruit and train a lot of our Black and brown folks from the community to become police officers.
That's right.
We need to start respecting ourselves and start policing ourselves rather than bringing other folks to police us. Because, there's no reason why we should depend on someone else to come in and police us. Because if you bring someone else in and have them engage in just keeping the peace in the community, I think you'll find a much better outcome than us relying on a force from outside to come in. And I think we need to encourage a lot of our young men and women from our communities to apply for these jobs, recognizing that they have very good benefits, extremely good benefits, and this is actually a career.
Do you think they're doing it? Do you think they're doing it? I see the 49 precinct was out in Corp City, and we're talking about officers, Jay, and all of these officers that look like us, trying to speak to the young Black brothers, encouraging them to stand up like him and join the force and make a difference. They were looking at him like he's crazy.
Yeah, but you see, that's because the officers are speaking to them. But we as community leaders must also start singing that tune. Because if I'm driving and I see a officer that looks like me pull me over, I might feel a little bit less apprehensive than another officer pulling me over. Because we have to start policing our own communities, setting the code of conduct in our own communities, because too often we wait for someone else to come in and set the code of conduct and to police our communities. And how do we change that dynamic? And I think that's one of the conflict that we have to recognize that occurs, because there's always someone else coming in who knows nothing about the community. And, and I was sharing this with you the other day, this one young lady who I knew her actually when she was born. And one day I was walking across the street to the courthouse recently, sometime last year, and this police car just kind of rolled up on me and the siren started going. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is this officer doing, so early in the morning coming to bother me? And then when they opened the door and I looked around to my right, it was this young lady who was in her police uniform. And she says, oh, I just wanted to say hi because I don't think you've ever seen me in my uniform. These are the feelings that we need, because here was somebody who you knew from the community. You see her every day. You knew when she was in college, when all of that stuff occurred, and now she's in uniform, because I trust that she's always going to do the right thing, because I know where she's coming from. I know that she's grounded in the community. So I have no doubt as to whether or not she's going to do the right thing. So how do we encourage more of these folks to start doing that?
Well, that's what we have to do as a community, and we have to get out there, and we have to help the police. While they say defund the police, I say help the police. We as community people has to come together, not just making noise every time police kill a Black man, for example. But where are we when it comes to the Black man who just killed a Black man, the Black man that just raped a little sister or somebody's mother? Why are we so silent? So when we defund the police, The things that you're talking about, Captain Dennis Mohammed, is the things that we need to do to bring together with NYPD or with Ohio, with any place, with Texas. And while we're here tonight talking about voting, that is why we need strong um, officials in office who could stand with you, who could stand with Attorney Hugh Campbell, who could stand with myself and anybody in the community who is trying to make a difference and bring these pieces together. We need strong leadership, qualified.
But there's no question about it. We have to be very clear that the same investment that is being made on a national level of police reform, that same investment should be as equal in giving community reform. It don't make sense that all around the nation reform, police reform, police reform, police reform. And we don't talk about community reform, community reform, community reform. It don't make sense. If you're going to invest in police reform, don't it make sense we should invest in community reform? If the police say that they don't believe they need to be reformed, and if you ask them, they say, we don't believe we need to be reformed. Well, who you think? You know what they're going to say if they was honest? You Negroes need to be reformed. That's the problem. It ain't us. So if we begin to talk to, I'm not down with defunding police. I'm talking about let's reallocate some of the funding. Let's take money and apply it to grassroots organizations. I'm not down with helping the police now because, see, they want community and police relationship. They want us to help them while they get a check. Huh? I don't get a check. They want us to help them for free. They want us to help them to catch the bad guy when they get paid to catch the bad guy. I'm not down with that. They got guns, bulletproof vests, sirens, backup. We got nothing, but we want a relationship. We want the community to help us. Help you what? We help you to do nothing. We paying you to do a job. And if you can't cut the mustard, if you can't do it, then get out. Get out of being police. Because that was not a prerequisite when you became a police officer that you signed a contract that I'm only going to be a police officer if the community helps me. Show me that. Now all of a sudden you need us. But you're talking about why you need us. It's because you have lost the trust of the community. And you have not, and that ain't talking about the good cops, because silence is betrayal. So if the good cops don't say nothing, they almost as bad as the bad cops. And so we're not talking about the good cops, but heck, we're talking about a blue wall of silence. Now all of a sudden, the unions are saying we can no longer aid and obey bad cops. Oh, now you saying that we can no longer stand. So you have been harboring bad cops over these many, many years. So now you saying, well, we can't stand with them no more. I wonder why. So now you're admitting that you aided and abetted bad, corrupt cops, and you shield them and protect them, even though you knew they was wrong. But now you're saying, well, the unions, see, everything is unraveling now. And black folks need to wake up. You don't see that problem in the daggone Italian community. Go to Asia Town. You'll see majority of the police officers in Asia, in Chinatown, are Asians. It makes sense. How come we can't say we want all black police officers in our community? Let the white police officer call for cultural diversity. How come we always got to call for it? How come we can't say we want all black police officers? Are we wrong? That's called cultural policing. We got the right. But for some reason, we just got to, well, you know, we the most, oh man, don't get me started. See, because we really got the solution to our own daggone problem. And that is stop making excuses.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think one of the issues, there are two issues that kind of add to the problem. And that is number one, lack of voting. And number two, lack of financial resources. Because the people who vote religiously and they know that they can depend on that voting block, they're going to listen to them. The people who have financial resources and is going to, spend the money when it comes to, campaigning and stuff, they will listen to them. And that's one of the things that we definitely need to put ourselves in that position where we have a voice. And I always said that, it becomes.
Are we losing you, Attorney Hugh Campbell?
Yep, that's what it says.
I wonder why. You can't be talking about defunding. You say the word defund, your internet will shut down.
We can hear you, but we can't see you, my brother.
Yeah, we could hear you, could continue to talk, but we lost him. But Dennis, listen, you're here in New York and we have a lot of work to do. And we have people to meet. And I just remember an event that taking place here in New York. And I would definitely like to have you there, presence, especially with all these things that's going on with mental issues. I don't think half of the people understand. You know, what bothers me the most is when I see someone with mental issue in handcuff because they need help. They don't necessarily need their arrest. They need help. But how does a cop know that this person need help? At first, because, you have to go through something in order to figure out certain things. Because in all honesty and due respect, I witnessed a case just a couple of days ago. And you would have never known he had a mental case until the cops say, why? And he starts speaking. He listened to him. And they recognize. That's when they bring in the ambulance. They didn't take him in the police car. My heart melts for the 49 precinct that day because I see the struggle they had. But when they figure out this is a case, they really and truly got the ambulance to get him help. It was a struggle. But we need elected officials who care, who can go and fight with us to get the help we need for mental illness. It's a serious case. And a lot of funding is not there for them also.
Let me say this, sis. We are coming up, and I have added into a curriculum that I'm revising with my law enforcement training. And the piece that I'm adding to it is the mental health training piece. Now, law enforcement don't get mental health training, but they know they need it because now mental health patients and people are becoming to be a serious concern, and several national incidents have took place because they didn't know how to deal with the mentally disturbed or mental person. Now, check this out, sis. Number one, they are now saying we're going to put it in the hands of the fire department or EMS, okay, as we said. So they get mental health calls. They don't want to deal with it, but they want to, of course. Now, EMS, they do only thing they know how to do is to prescribe and recognize that this individual may be offered some medicine. And they can prescribe medicine because they're EMS, they're ambulance service. So they can prescribe a certain medicine that can calm them down if they bipolar, whatever. But in reality, you need people who have mental health centers, who knows the mindset of mentally, the triggers. They need to be able to train not only law enforcement, but they need to train ambulance, they need to train fire, because people that deal with mentally disturbed people from a center, from a hospital perspective, they know all the triggers. And they need to train officers to recognize the triggers. Because all people that are mentally are mentally challenged. See, one of the things they say about people who are mentally disturbed, they don't have what you call coping skills. But if I had a mental health center to deal with mentally ill people every day, I could go before law enforcement and say, let me tell you something. Everybody that you see is not on medicine. Some of these mental health triggers, and how you know the triggers? By the way they talk, by the way they act, by the way they sound. See, they need to know the triggers. So when the police officer, remember, he got that train, he said, oh, they said he's chewing the tongue, that individual. So I know the triggers. But they need to be taught a training that would help them to identify, even though they shouldn't deal with them, but at least I can identify, because you're taking in people that you don't even know that's mentally disturbed. So we mentally disturbed ain't always the dude that's out there crazy, butt naked. The mentally disturbed could be a suit and tie attorney, a suit and tie businessman. He just could be just as mentally disturbed, depression, bipolar. So we can't identify mentally disturbed people by certain looks.
Looks, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is all what we have to deal with today. So all that of yesterday, we rewriting the book. So when you come across a mentally disturbed person where they're dangerous, or they may took somebody's life, or they may want to have the life, they got a knife in their hand. It ain't no sense of calling the daggone fire department. You got to deal with them right there on the spot. What do you do? What do you do when they're coming after you with a knife? What do you do? So you have to be able to give them a training to say, give them a lot of space, give them a lot of room. Hell, if you shoot a damn bear in the ass and put him to sleep and make sure he don't kill it, can't you take a damn dart, shoot the brother in his butt, put him to sleep? All of this is stuff need to be talked about. Well, you know, we don't know it. But listen, you shooting them going to make sure they really dead. So I'd rather take a chance of tranquilizing that crazy brother or sister than you shoot them and say we ain't had no alternative. Come on. We're talking about reality. So when we talk about mentally disturbed people, you know, you can't identify half the people that are mentally disturbed. You can't identify people who's in deep depression. That sister, she's a tennis player, right? I forgot her name. She did not want to do no news interviews. It wasn't that she didn't think that she was entitled and privileged not to do them, but she was going through deep depression. And until they forced her to tell why. They came after so hard that when she told them in the world, I'm depressed. When people go into deep depression, they become suicidal. You can look at a person, they look stable. So when they found out that she had mental health problems, now all of the athletes who was hard on her, now, well, we understand, and you know, See? How is it that every time you look at a celebrity of ours, and they get on medicine, they get on pills, look at Prince. What is it that he had to get on medicine for? Look at Michael Jackson. What is it that he had to get on medicine for? We can look at somebody that look like they sing, but it's crazy as hell, but we don't know it. So we got to look at mental health issues from a big gamut. Because in reality, sis, we're all mentally damaged goods. There's
Amen.
know it, and there's some that show it.
And some that don't want you to know about it.
Hey, it is what it is.
Amen.
I can admit I got issues.
We all do. We all do.
I can look to.
Tanika, we all do, girl. We all do. We are out here, man. We can sit here, Dennis, and you know, when you and I get on a phone, when we get together, we can talk forever. You know, when we start talking, we have so much to talk to. We have so much work to do, so much people to meet. From the 4-9 to the 4-7 to the DA to Attorney Hugh Campbell office to Kevin Riley's office. You got so much to do. And we have this event to go to, and Tanika, we will be there. And we're going to make sure that the people hear it from the man himself, Dennis Mohammed. It's all about the Peacemakers Initiative. When people are going around fighting for power, you're not fighting for power, man. You're fighting to bring peace, to bring change. That's what we need. That's why we vote. We're not voting for you, but you're doing the job on the sideline. You're doing exactly the job that we need help with. We talk about, thank God, La Crown. We need somebody who will fight with us. You talk about people that go to the army and fight for years and become veterans. And you sit down and watch our veterans crying out for good help, for help. Man, from the time we hear veterans, man, we should be ready to work with them. So you see, we're here tonight to bring to the people, not just an election talk, but the reason we got to make sure we vote for the right people in office. Because the work you're doing, as you say, you and I are not carrying a gun. but we are helping the community, the same community with the mental illness, the same community with all the crime and everything going on. And people look at you because you stand up for what's right. Who is protecting us? Only Allah, the Most High. You understand? We got to put our faith in Him, not in man. Too many people put their faith and trust in politicians. And when they fail them, then they feel like they even want to kill themselves. I can't believe it. A politician do that. They're a human being. We need people with qualifications right now. And that is why I say we must go out and vote. We need to know who we are voting for and not just vote for somebody we like. Vote for somebody who is qualified. And that's what we're here tonight to talk about. Dennis, man, we have so much work to do. And I know we get off of here. You and I could sit on the phone until 3 o'clock in the morning and talk. But I love it, brother, because when you finish with me, I'm a whole different me. And people don't understand why I am who I am. I am this way because I'm surrounded by good, influential people. And that's why I appreciate you. I appreciate you that when the devil tried to distract me and to bring war in my life, you step in and say, that's not the Avril I know. And you bring peace. And today, me and my sister is even closer than ever because we both learn to talk it out. But you see what we have here? Sometimes people, they don't get to know you. They listen to rumor and gossip. But you know what I told somebody? When somebody come and tell you negative about a person, that's the person you should get to know. You should say, man, I want to know that person. If you're telling me so much negative about the person, it got to be something. Get to know the person and prove the devil wrong.
That's right.
Man, we tell you, we lose attorney Hugh Campbell tonight, but we lost him from the stream. But I guarantee you, we ain't losing from the community. This man does not sleep. And if you ask me if somebody should be in office, it would be him. Because there's nothing he don't know about politics. And I stand with him, standing for Vanessa Gibson, standing for Kevin Riley, standing for the people who could make a difference here in the Bronx. And in the 15th district, I'm a little disappointed with the fighting that's going on right now. And because I don't know truth to it and what's going on, I would not speak much on it. But I'm disappointed in what I saw so far. So we need great leaders and we need people who is qualified and have some morals about themselves. We can't do it.
Say this, sister, I'm so honored. You know, I'm here for 4 months. I have been given beautiful accommodations by.
No, we're not going to say where you at, please. We're not going to say where you at. I don't want people to come to my house too often.
And the beautiful accommodations, it affords me the comfort to be able to take and put a schedule together, meet with people, talk with people. I'm surrounded myself with good people. And how can you go wrong when you got good people like yourself and Shirley and
Tripico
people? I mean, it just, I can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Not with Shirley and me.
Oh,
Especially, not Shirley and everybody that's around you and all the ladies who fight for you at the Avril Show Foundation. Come on now, Dennis, man. That's the part I get upset about, man. Especially Paula coming now and she take this picture now in her big green dress.
Now, I asked to take that picture. She didn't just say it. I wanted that picture personally myself. You know, I just wanted to send it home to my wife and let her know I'm working the floor.
Work it, Dennis. Listen, man, we're gonna work it, and we are going to make sure that I know you have to travel. You're going to Texas. You're going all over the place. But listen, we're gonna hold it down for you, and we're gonna make sure the places and the people that you're gonna meet right here in the Bronx, you're gonna meet them. We got work to do, Dennis. Tonight is not over.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to those meetings, and I definitely looking for my brother Kevin to win. I had a great opportunity meeting him. He's the young man, and we need young men We need young leadership. You know, this old saying in the scripture, young men for war and old men for counsel. And we fighting spirit. And if we surround our brother with a good group of seasoned counselors, older men, to help guide brother. See, that's what the youth need. I don't care. They need old counseling. They need OGs around them to help them to stay on point and to be able to block for them so they can get across the goal line. That's important. And I believe brother is going to be great in what he do. And we're not going to, I think, you know, he can take a few hits. That's one thing about if you ever get in sports, especially football, you can't be afraid to get hit. You can't say you like boxing and you can't be afraid to get hit. All right? People swinging back now. It's how you handle, how you bob, how you weave. But the point of it is how you handle it. And so I think he's cut out to handle it. And you know how to go. Watch how you dig a grave for me and let you dig in the grave for yourself. So that's what I see. I mean, today, man, you know, we have to be very, very careful what we say. There's an old saying that was in the Bible, in the Holy Quran, about Abraham destroying all the idols in the temple. And Abraham was upset with the people's worshiping of idols that they make with their hands. So they have all these idols in the temple. So late at night, Abraham slips in and he destroys all the idols. The next day, the people come in and they just upset. Who destroyed the idols? So Abraham said, well, why don't you ask them who destroyed them? And so the moral of the story is, see, you can't even, anything that you make with your hand, you worship it, that's bad. Worship God who created all people. He destroyed that, but we have to be very careful how we destroy these youth idols. They have idols too. And Kevin may be somebody's idol. So you have to be very careful when you try to destroy somebody's idol that they look up to, because they become angry. And that's what they did to Abraham. They became angry and went to take his life. Be very careful how you talk about other people, because that may be the idol of somebody. Somebody look up to that individual. And when you talk about them, you are talking about their idol. So we got to be very careful when you try to destroy people's idols. People are into idol worshiping. And though they like these individuals, you talk bad about them. And one day they'll pop up from up under your bed. So we have to be very careful when we talk about anybody. Because Kevin may be the idol of some of these young people. Vanessa may be the idol of some of these young people. Be very careful what we say about another person, unless you try to destroy the idol of someone who looks up to them. And then and that's the great principle in that teachings.
Amen. I think we ended with a great scripture. We can't go any deeper than that. I want to thank Captain Dennis Mohammed. I want to thank you again, my brother. Listen, if you never earned my respect before, you earn it when I thought on June 3rd, 2021, that you're on the road to New York City to be at the Avril Show Foundation. I said, he's going to be tired. But as tired as you was, you made sure you were there. So I'm telling you, man, moving forward, you ain't missing a show. You ain't missing another event, because Dennis Mohammed will be in the day before instead of the day of. We got work to do, Dennis. We have a billboard to put forward. We have a billboard to hang over New York City. And we got to make sure that that gets done. We have people in the community who would like your work, who would stand with you. And together we're going to make this happen. You are here for peace, not to protest. You are here to make peace. And on behalf of the Avril Show, I thank you for all the work you're doing in Ohio, in Texas, in Maryland, in Florida, in New York City, all over. where you're practicing or you're preaching or you're teaching or you're educating peace and speaking truth into the life of the people. I want to be the next Dennis Mohammed in the next life.
Get out.
I want to thank Attorney Hugh Campbell for holding it down with us. And whatever happened tonight, I know it's something good. And I guarantee you, he will be up until 3 o'clock in the morning doing some kind of work. But Dennis will be speaking after the show. We got a lot to talk about. I thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone who stayed up with us tonight and being a part of this program. I encourage you to be that voice in the voting poll. That's where your voice is heard. Go out and vote. Make sure you know your community. Make sure you understand your community. And I'm telling you for the last time, do not let down your community by saying you're not vote. Vote for the most qualified person out there for the job. And let's take New York City to another level. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Good night. God bless. And as they say in the islands, walk good.